So for reaction video 3, the title of the video is How to Start Changing an Unhealthy Work Environment. And it's pretty interesting. He talks about backbiting most of the time, which was not the term that I had heard for what he's referring to, which backbiting is talking negatively about a third person who is not present. So talking behind someone's back is what I've always heard it as, but it makes sense. And he asks you a question right at the start: why is it so hard to change? And he tells a story about Socrates back in ancient times and how he uses the triple filter test. And all you have to do is get one of the questions right and you pass, and then it's something that his friend could have told him about one of his other friends. But he makes a good point when he says nothing's useful in it, nothing's nice or positive about it. So why do you need to know? So that was an interesting thought. Like when people run up to you like, guess what, guess what I heard, all this stuff. Well, maybe that's not the right thing to be worrying about. Maybe it's most likely something that's being shared with you like that was probably something that the person didn't want to have shared in the first place. So I think that if you refuse that information, it kind of makes you, I don't want to say look better, but maybe a better person, maybe a kinder person, because you're respecting that person likely didn't want that information shared, that they messed up in something or they made a mistake in their past and it's coming up to bite them. And sometimes it's good for people's mistakes to be shown, but maybe it's at their own speed, not the speed of other people running around telling their friends or people that know them, so that the next time that they go to class or go to work, go wherever they are, they feel uncomfortable because they think everybody's sitting there just like thinking about what they did, and oftentimes that's probably true. So I thought the triple filter test was a pretty cool concept. It asks good questions, and it's almost like something that I would want to apply to scenarios like that. And then maybe not carry it out, but maybe that's what part of the problem is. Nobody wants to just deny the information because someone might be like, well, why don't you want to know? It's funny, blah, blah, blah. Well, like I said, it's probably something that another person did not want to have shared, so it's probably better off that you don't find out the information if you really care about that person. So next, he says everyone backbites pretty much. He says, what group of people backbites? He says women, and then he says men, which is everyone. And so why do people backbite? Maybe they think it makes them seem interesting. They're getting the attention of a lot of people. And yeah, that might feel really good, but you're only hurting someone else. And nobody's nice to each other anymore, except for their core friends. Nobody, I don't know. I remember being a kid, like you go for a walk with your family, you wave at other people. Everyone would always smile and wave back. Now, people just look at you or quickly turn their head away because they don't want to acknowledge you're there. And I don't know what changed for that to happen, but I notice it more and more every year. My dad waves at people all the time when we go for a walk or go for a hike and we see other people, and a lot of times people, like I said, just look the other way, don't wave back. They don't care to acknowledge that you're there. And it's not that people who wave and do things like that like need attention or anything like that. They're just trying to be nice, and that seems like a problem for a lot of people now, is just being courteous and waving back. So like I said, why do people backbite? It might make them feel like they're interesting, like for once they have everyone's attention and everyone wants to know what they want to say. And that's probably true. It probably does get the attention of a lot of people. I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't made mistakes and done things like this, because I definitely have. I've definitely listened into things. I've definitely told things, and that's just mistakes I've made that I'm okay admitting. So, truthfully, like he says, this is just how adults bully each other. They find information to share about one another, and then they tell other people, and I don't see a positive for it. You get 30 seconds of people listening to you, wow, maybe just find something actually interesting to talk about, and then people will want to listen to you. So he says how to get an end to backbiting. Well, in your workplace, he says he has 150 CEOs that could back him up on this, but you do the test. Do you believe backbiting takes place here? People probably say yes. Some people might not know the term. Some people might. So you define it afterwards, and then you re-ask the same question. Do you believe backbiting takes place here? And everyone will probably say yes, because if anyone says no, I'd be surprised, unless they're already doing practices to do this. I haven't met very many people who won't go share information about people. I try not to do it as much as I can. I try to stay out of talking bad about people, but I still do it. I get mad and I say mean things. So then he says you got to put a board up and put Gossip 2016 on it. And like he says in the video, it sounds like a really simple concept, but I feel like that reminder is just, I think it means something to people, because you see that maybe everyone's taking an effort, so you don't want to be the first person to do whatever it might be. Like he says, it works. And I think that's the most important thing, is to get this type of behavior to stop in the workplace and just in the world all around. This is not something that should be happening. It's not really something that affects me. I don't really personally care what people say about me. I just live my own life and do my own thing, but I know a lot of people that it would really bother, and I've seen it bother people, and I've seen these actions in person, and it's never a positive thing. So when do I think people start backbiting? Probably, man, I don't know. It'd have to be somewhere, it's before 6th grade, I'd say. Probably as early as people can start comprehending popularity, I'd say. Because popularity is where a lot of this starts. People try and spread rumors, make their so-called enemies look bad or whatever. I think that's probably the first part where it really starts, where people start coming after each other's throats to make themselves feel better. Maybe it's to make their enemies look bad. I don't know. It's not really up for me to decipher, but I can make a difference in making sure that that's something I'm not doing, and maybe stepping up and saying something when people are making these decisions. So it was an interesting video. I think it's something we should all look out for. Thank you.